So in this part, I'm going to continue talking about the PowerPoint slides and start here with the state universities versus the University of California. So I talked a little bit about the state universities being a little bit less expensive and not quite so focused on research, a little less prestigious, although Cal Poly is well known for its engineering program. The University of California tends to be more expensive. It's more focused on research. So I went to UC Davis, and I would say that's pretty accurate that I came out of school with a lot of book learning and not a lot of hands-on knowledge, so I had to get that on the job. Whereas Professor Pattengale went to Cal Poly, so he got lots of hands-on experience. You do, if you're a mechanical engineer, you have to do a project where you have to design and build something, and it's very much more hands-on. It's more competitive to get into the UCs. They're bigger and they're generally farther away from your home, but near us, we're lucky that we have Berkeley and Davis, really different schools. I'll talk more about that when we talk about picking a college. So many people choose the college because it's close to their home and not too expensive. So a lot of our students go to Sac State and UC Davis, but we have a good number of students that also go to other schools. The reputation of the school is important, especially if you're going outside of California. You want to find out, where does that school rank nationally. There's lots of different sizes of schools, from very small private schools to really enormous universities. So you want to go to the school that's going to be the best fit for you. The reputation of a school can get you a better job to begin with, but doesn't necessarily you get a better education as an undergraduate engineering. Stanford, for example, is an awesome school, but they really don't focus on undergraduate engineering. So I would recommend that you go somewhere that doesn't cost so much, and then you can go to Stanford maybe for a graduate degree. So some schools have concentrations, not all of them. It's kind of what used to be considered a minor, of that you have some collection of electives. So biomedical engineering is sometimes a concentration under chemical engineering. Alternative energy might be a concentration under another engineering degree. Then Professor Pattengale, one of the ways he decided where to go to college was he looked at their job placement statistics at their career center to find out how many of your students get jobs when they get done. And Cal Poly was the best in the state. So you also have to visit the campus. You just have to. A virtual tour is not the same thing. Every campus has a feel to it, a vibe, if you will, and you really have to go there to see what it's like and see if it feels comfortable and if it's a good fit for you. So the definite places to visit are the labs and the career center. And you could contact somebody ahead of time to arrange a tour. Most schools are happy to give tours to people who are considering being students there. Some of them do group tours, so you'd have to join in with a group. Others will maybe assign a student to give you a personalized tour. The person I found the most helpful to know was the secretary of the department, or an administrative assistant. If you can find that person on the school's website, there's a great contact person. They have lots of information, know lots about the instructors. Here are some of the industry partners that we've had come to our advisory committee meetings, or people have come from these places to speak. So we have lots of industry partners that also are looking for students to be interns. And then the other thing we just wanted to tell you about was the engineering physics club, which it depends on whether or not there are students willing to take on leadership roles, of whether there is a club or not. So when there is a club, Professor Pattengale is the club advisor, and he's happy to do that, but it really is student run. The way Sierra College clubs work is, if you put together a constitution and bylaws, which they have a template, it's not that hard. You can put together a club, and then you get, I think it's $200 from the college as funds for your club to operate. And then a lot of clubs do fundraisers or projects or field trips or all kinds of different activities. So that's a great opportunity for you. Our Physics and Engineering Club has participated in a Rube Goldberg competition where they had to build a contraption that had a certain number of steps and had to accomplish something like blowing up a balloon. And Sierra College actually won the competition against a lot of other bigger schools. So I've gathered some information for you here. This is just from U.S. News and World Report, so you could go look at it yourself if you want more information. I've done this for several years now, and I find that it's pretty much the same top 10 schools. Sometimes the order changes, but these are the top 10 schools in the country. If you're interested in going to a nationally known university, here's some of the ones that you might want to look at. So this is for undergraduate engineering programs that the highest degree is a bachelor's or master's, and then this is where the highest degree is a doctorate for civil. And this is for mechanical and electrical. So you can see MIT comes out high on all these lists. And then this is a cost comparison for tuition for community college, CSU, and the UC. So you can see that the UCs cost sometimes more than twice as much as the CSUs. But there's another thing to consider, which is financial aid. And I can't tell you how much financial aid you'll get, but more and more students are finding out UC really is affordable by the time they get financial aid, particularly if they're from a low-income household or they're the sole wage earner of a family. So it's worth looking into. And that's also the case with some of the private schools that used to be so expensive they were just beyond most of us to be able to consider. But now they have lots and lots of scholarship money, and so the cost could be the same as a UC. So you definitely should look into those and not just cross them off your list. So this is more details about costs, and I gave you the websites down here if you want to go look for more information. So Sierra College right now is at $46 per unit. And then if you go to the CSUS, undergraduate basic tuition fees for year $54.72, and one of our children went to Sac State, so I know you can pay that in installments. You don't have to pay the whole amount at once. There's a couple other things I know about Sac State. My son would tell you that the best upper division GE is history of rock and roll. So you might want to make a note of that. You do have to take upper division GE once you get to the CSU, even if you have fulfilled all your lower division GE requirements at the community college. So UC Davis, you can see, is a lot more expensive. And then this is the information from, I cut it off at the top, but it's from Berkeley. You can see down here in the web address. So this is Berkeley, this is Cal Poly. So I gave you web addresses for these if you want to go look for more details. And this is Chico State. The CSUs are all pretty similar and the UCs are all pretty similar, but sometimes the students vote fees on themselves to build recreational structures or different kinds of things. So they vary a little bit. They aren't all exactly the same. So please do ask if you have any questions about the math sequence that I would recommend, which instructors I think will be a good fit for you if you're going into engineering. Like I told you at the class, the math tutors in the Math Center is a great resource for talking about different instructors and what their style is, how they teach, what their focus is, how well prepared you are going on to the next class. Because math is so sequential, it really is important that you get a good foundation and that you really challenge yourself and really learn the material, because it will just hurt you later on if you have topics that you haven't really mastered. So please do feel free to email me, dhill@sierracollege.edu. You can message me through Canvas. I'd love to hear from you, and I'm looking forward to seeing your papers.